Assalamu alaikum. I am Dr. Qazi Mohammad Zakir Hussain, Associate Professor Surgery, Bosundara Ad-Din Medical College. I welcome you all in the following lecture of surgery. Today we shall discuss about umbilical hernia. What is the definition of hernia? Hernia can be defined as a protrusion of a viscous through an abnormal weak point of its containing cavity, or it can be defined as a bulging of a part of the content of the abdominal cavity through a weakness in the abdominal wall. So, when this herniation occurs through the umbilicus is known as umbilical hernia. Now, what are the causes of umbilical hernia? Umbilical hernia most important cause is developmental failure of the abdominal wall. All of you know that the intestine remains in the during the developmental period, intestine remain into the semilumic cavity and it returns into the fetal cavity during the developmental period. If it fails to develop the anterior abdominal wall, then there is failure of the development of the abdominal wall and herniation develops. That is known as exomphalus. If the hernia sac is more, then it is known as exomphalus major. If the herniation is small in amount, then it is known as exomphalus minor. Today we shall discuss about the umbilical hernia which develops after the delivery of the fetus. Now, the most important cause is the development of umbilical hernia is the developmental failure, and after delivery, after birth, the failure of the closure of the umbilical defect. There are many contributing factors for the development of the umbilical hernia are excessive intra-abdominal pressure, which may be due to chronic cough, bronchitis, respiratory distress such as bronchial asthma, and enlargement of the prostate, micturition difficulty due to enlargement of the prostate, and defecation due to constipation. Umbilical intra-abdominal pressure may be rise. There is weakness of the wall of the anterior abdominal wall is also a important cause of development of umbilical hernia. Other contributing factors are sharp or blunt trauma, postoperative scar, weakness due to structure entering and leaving the abdomen, genetic collagen factor deficiency, weakness due to aging and pregnancy, and primary neurological defects. These are the contributing factors for the development of all hernia like umbilical hernia. What are the types? How can we classify umbilical hernia? Umbilical hernia or any other hernia can be classified in the following way. It is reducible or simple hernia when the swelling appears and disappears. It is irreducible, a swelling that cannot be replaced into the abdominal cavity is known as irreducible hernia. It is high risk of development of subsequent complication. It may be obstructed when the peristalsis is inhibited or if peristalsis is absent is known as obstructive hernia. It may be strangulated swelling with the vascular compromise. It is very painful and require urgent surgery. It may be infected, suppurated by infection. So, accordingly, we can classify any hernia into following groups: reducible, irreducible, obstructed, strangulated, and infected. Now, what is the pathophysiology of development of umbilical hernia? Umbilical defect present at birth but it closes at the stump of the umbilical cord heals. It is usually within a week after birth. This process may be delayed, leading to development of herniation in the neonatal period. Umbilical ring may also be stressed and reopen in adult life, cause umbilical hernia. This is the pathophysiology of development of umbilical hernia. Now, umbilical hernia in children. What is the presentation or what is the presentation of umbilical hernia in children? It occurs, umbilical hernia occurs 10% of the live birth. Higher incidence in premature babies. Hernia appears within few weeks after birth, but it is usually symptomless. Raised in intra-abdominal pressure during crying, a conical shape swelling occurred through the hernia, through the umbilicus. It is the complaint or it is the presentation usually says by the parents. The incidence male and female is equal. It is more in premature babies. Now, what is the treatment of umbilical hernia in neonates? If the hernia is symptomless, expectant treatment is necessary. It is all parents' reassurance for the disease, and 95% of the umbilical hernia in neonates resolves spontaneously. It does not require any treatment. If the hernia persists beyond the age of 2 years, it is unlikely to resolve. Then surgical repair is indicated. What is the surgical treatment? After preparing the patient, a small carved incision is made immediately below the umbilicus. Sac is identified and it is dissected out from the surrounding structure. Neck is defined, sac is open, and any content in the hernial sac returned back into the peritoneal cavity. Sac is ligated at the neck and remainder portion of the sac is excised. Sac, if there is any defect around in and around the linea alba, that is also closed by the interrupted sutures. This is all about umbilical hernia in neonates. Now, umbilical hernia in adult. What is the pathophysiology? Reopening of the umbilical defect causes by condition that causes thinning and stressing of the mid and midline raphe, that is the linea alba. Repeated pregnancies, weakness of the abdominal wall, obesity, that is flabby abdominal muscle, ascites, especially in cirrhotic patients, and any other causes that causes raised intra-abdominal pressure, especially respiratory disease, constipation, and enlarged prostate causing stricture urethra. These are the causes of development of hernia in adult age. What is the presentation? On palpation, there is a rounded, well-defined fibrous ring margin felt in the umbilicus. Content is usually a small intestine. If the hernia is small, content a small umbilical hernia. If the content is extraperitoneal fat and omentum. In large hernia, content is a small bowel and large bowel. As the neck of the sac is narrow, umbilical hernia is more prone to become irreducible, obstructed, and subsequently may undergo strangulation. So, it needed immediate or early surgical treatment. What is the clinical presentation? Swelling of the umbilical region increases on cupping and straining. Cupping impulse present, that is the expansile cupping impulse are present in the umbilicus. Patient may have other hernia such as inguinal hernia. It may be reducible or it may be irreducible according to the presentation. Crescent shape appearance of the umbilicus. Patient complains of pain due to tissue tension and symptoms of intermittent small intestine or large intestinal obstruction. There may be dermatitis in case of large hernia due to thinning or stretching of the umbilical skin. Now, we shall discuss about the treatment of umbilical hernia in adult. A small hernia may left alone if they are asymptomatic, but they may be enlarged and require surgery at the later date. As the hernia may develop strangulation, surgery should be advised in case where the hernia content is intestine. Surgery may be performed open and laparoscopic procedure. Now, treatment of adult umbilical hernia. If the hernia is small, it may be left alone. If it is a small and asymptomatic, it may be left alone. They may be enlarged in the later life, required surgery. As a result of high risk of strangulation, surgery should be advised in case where the hernia content is intestine. Surgery may be performed by open procedure and laparoscopic procedure. Open umbilical hernia repair. If the hernia sac is about or less than 2 centimeter, it is repaired by Mayo technique, classical repair by Mayo technique. A transverse incision is made below the umbilicus and the sac is open, content is reduced back into the peritoneal cavity and it is repaired by double breasted technique, that is known as also Mayo technique. If the hernia sac is more than 2 centimeter, mesh repair is recommended. The mesh may be placed in several ways in several anatomical planes within the peritoneal cavity or retromuscular space, extraperitoneal space or subcutaneous plane. In these cases, we give after preparing the patient a transverse oblique incision, crescentic incision below the umbilicus and the skin flap is elevated, there the hernia sac is identified and the sac is dissected out, content is reduced back into the peritoneal cavity and it is repaired and the mesh is placed accordingly, then the wound is closed with a drain in the place. By the laparoscopic technique, laparoscopic umbilical hernia repair, 3 ports are placed laterally in the abdominal wall. The content of the hernial sac is retracted and by the external pressure. The disc shape or non-adherent mesh is introduced into the peritoneal cavity and the mesh is placed under the diaphragm in the peritoneal cavity at and around the centering the umbilicus, and it is fixed by the using staplers or trackers or suture material. This is the laparoscopic repair of umbilical hernia, but in case of laparoscopic repair, the hernial mesh is double layered as it does not causes any irritation into the intestinal content, into the abdominal content, that is the intestine. If it is reactive to the intestine, it will adherent to the mesh and subsequent intestinal obstruction may develop. In case of placement of the mesh in the peritoneal cavity, we have to give double layer peritoneal mesh, disc shaped peritoneal mesh into the peritoneal cavity. This is all about the management of umbilical hernia in adult. Thank you all. Assalamu alaikum.